Today I'm in Cache Creek, Colorado, at the public mining area. I've seen many videos online about this place, and I've heard the gold is very spotty, you gotta do a good job testing, sampling to find it. So, I'm pretty good at sampling and finding gold. Let's go find some gold. Tailing piles all around. This land was, as the BLM puts it, acquired by the BLM. And it's weird in their sign how it says they're not subject to the 1872 Mining Act. So you can't use any motorized, mechanical, like that equipment. Sluicing, panning, and regular digging. Looks like we got a little washout here. You can tell the water runs over these whenever it storms or something. Looks like somebody had a little hole here. Look at that monstrosity of a quartz boulder. Dang. Although I don't see the right things on the surface to indicate this would be a gold carrying quartz, but I'm sure it does have some in there given its sheer size. Historic site. Apparently there's some historical value they did to shut part of this down. Piles of rocks everywhere. We got a little sample going here. Classified a pan of material from up here. The water is very low and minimum here, so you gotta pack your materials from wherever you choose to sample or dig and go for it. But there's a lot of diggings here. Look at the sheer amount of black sands. They're fully loaded. I still see them working and dancing, so I know if there's gold it's gonna get trapped, but wow. Black sand galore. So we got a little bit. We got a little bit of gold in the sample I took from a bluff side. A fellow prospector pointed it out to me. Tried it out. It did okay. The water here is nothing but a trickle, so it's perfect to have this little sluice handy for dealing with the water. But I mean, we didn't get nothing, but I'd like some more. I better keep digging. So I just did another cleanup, and holy moly, the black sands are abundant in this spot that I'm working. But I think I need to get this down, cleaned up more. I see a bunch of little gold on the leading edge, but it likes to ride this iron black sand. So I definitely need to clean it up a little bit more and see how that is. If that works good, then I'll just keep the sluice here and continue running in my little spot. So this is only some of it. There's some of the colors showing through. It took some work to get them out of the black sand. I still have a ton of black sand to deal with, and I know I see other little colors within this black sand. It is a really dense and hard fight with the flat gold versus this black sand. So to give you an idea of what we got going on here, all I have is the scoop. I just got this yesterday at a hardware store. I was glad they had it because that was the one tool I needed, but all mine were too long. All mine were too long to bring on the plane. That classifier sits in there, and this all stores into my luggage. No problem to go back to Alaska. And then, of course, I bought those extra sluices. The sluice is still running down by the creek. Let me pull this wide. So we're looking at this wall. looking at various minerals. You can see all sorts of rust lines, pockets of broken quartz. The thing of this place is it was hydraulic years ago, over a century ago, well over. The thing of this place is it was hydraulic well over a century ago, where monitors were blowing water up and everything was washing down into their long toms, and that's all they were focused on getting. So, in looking at these layers, I tested some of these, and the black sand is crazy, and it's right along this level here. Obviously, others have found it before me because this is my first time to Cache Creek in Colorado, but it made sense. But a lot of times, people will dig in places just because it looks right. They won't sample, and somebody might have dug really deep here. Was it worth it? We don't know. They didn't check every layer to see, is this the pay layer? Is that duds? Or was it this rusty line across? Now, you don't want to undercut the bank too much. This is pretty cemented and solid. It's really dry and compact. So I'm not going to do anything crazy under here today. I already am missing a finger, so got to be careful of that. So I'm going to check some more of these. I'm probably going to do about 3 more pans classified, and then do a clean out of the sluice and see how we're doing today. All right. So I just did a cleanup of the sluice, and see for yourselves, there's a bunch more in this black sand. It's a real burden to, you see on the leading edge. I'm just trying to, so you see on the leading edge there's more buried inside of this black sand. It's really difficult to pan and separate, but that's not too bad. So I've done maybe about 10 of these pans full of classified materials to 1/2 inch. Now, if I had a bucket and I had all sorts of other tools available, this could probably be really good. I heard the other guys were doing pretty good upstream, and they were working in the same vicinity as I was, and he was saying every scoop that he fed to the sluice, he could see a flake. That's pretty good. Now you can see it better. Some of those flakes would just flick off into this pile of heavy black sand, and there's still strays all through here, but that is not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. I'm on a road trip, so I'm not really doing hardcore burn yourself out, work a full day's work for gold, but given the rate of this place here, if you sample, if I went with the first place that I wanted to, I would have been done and out. I would have probably barely had anything. I got 3 pieces out of a full pan. But then when I tested different layers, that's what happens. You gotta sample and test to see where in here it's gonna be, because unless you got machinery, you're not working all of this equipment. Unless you've got machinery, you are not working all this yardage. You're gonna have to be selective and pick the best quality stuff and test to get the most gold. And that is how you get more gold than others. The Cache Creek area is actually really beautiful. Once you get out of the plateau where the windswept area has no trees and sagebrush, you get in this little valley, and you're surrounded by these pines, and you know I definitely could feel the altitude here at somewhere around 10,000 feet. And so all the work, it takes a little more to do, builds up your tolerance. But that is the place I worked today, and I found the right layer to work and make it happen.